Anxiety. What is anxiety? When you look at it with regards to the eyes of flow, or a simplistic way of looking at it, I think the only way to look at it, if you imagine that skill challenge ratio, your skill level and the challenge that you are in, flow sits between a progressive balance, and the way originally described it is a progressive balance between boredom and a bit of anxiety. Now, flow sits in that sweet spot. The way to really look at it is look at it through the lens of like the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. I think it's better for you. So there's just a little bit, and that little bit of sympathetic expression, that little bit dominant sympathetic expression is like a little bit of anxiety, a little stressor. And that little stressor is only a 4 to 6% gradient. So if it's any higher than that, then you'll fall into the trap to be more sympathetic, which will feel more like anxiety based. So instead of being driven by dopamine, that dopamine takes a back seat, and adrenaline and cortisol takes over and creates this tension and anxiety in your body. So that's one way of looking at anxiety. The other way, or another way, is that perhaps you're pointing in a direction that's out of alignment with who you are. There's no perhaps in it. So you can use that. So if you're feeling this sense of anxiety in your vehicle, your body, first thing is you've got to recognize who is it that's aware of anxiety. And when you hear what I'm saying and then actually recognize it, you recognize that you're the awareness. Therefore, you'll be able to see a sense of separation from it. When you can see that little bit of separation from it, the only way that you're feeling that anxiety is because you have a belief associated with it. So you can ask yourself, what is it I need to believe about myself in this situation here for me to feel this way? When you are sitting in the space of the awareness, the I am, and you're perceiving it from that location, that question, you're more likely to get an intuitive response from this. Then what another cool thing to do is whatever bubbles up, if you're very curious, you could go down and write down the 5 whys, dissecting all the way down, stripping away the layers of what kind of belief you have or limiting belief that you have to produce this feeling of anxiety. When you strip all this down, when you strip it all down to the bare bones, you'll notice that you've assigned a specific meaning onto that situation that's out of alignment with who you are. You'll notice that the belief has no strength that you applied to it, and therefore you have the ability to add a different type of belief towards it all. There's a lot more to talk about in this, so maybe we'll talk in another video.